Now, Freedom of Information requests have revealed that British taxpayers are on the hook for about $1.3 million in costs related to Prince Harry's failed legal battle with the Home Office. So will Harry be expected to pay or repay the costs?
Right. So the tally now it's over 1.3 million, as you said. That includes the legal action that Harry took out against the British Home Office over the stripped security. Of course, when Harry and Meghan left royal duties, they were no longer entitled to taxpayer-funded Met police officers. That was removed. Harry was very upset about that decision. He has cited that as the reason why he refuses to come back to the UK with his family. And this has really been an ongoing court battle for over 4 years. So he's lost it multiple times on appeals. It most recently went to the UK Court of Appeals last month, and he lost. So therefore, he will be expected to likely reimburse the Home Office and therefore the taxpayer this money. I think that's only fair. If he does repay the 1.3 million, on top of his own legal fees, it's estimated that he's spent in the ballpark of about $5 million just on this legal battle. I mean, $5 million, he could have paid for security with that money. I think it's an insane decision. But, from the taxpayer's point of view, they will likely get that money repaid eventually, but it's not a good look. This is Harry. He's supposedly misses his homeland, misses his country, and he's still sort of holding up the court's time. It's the legal system, it's all of these public services that really have better things to do with their time than hear Harry's grievances in his, $20 million mansion. I think they're sick of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Very well said. Now, a royal insider has claimed that Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are secretly on standby to take on royal duties when William becomes king. Do we know anything else about, plans for his cousins?
Yes, so this is a story, we've talked about it many times. Over the years, there's been a lot of speculation about Beatrice and Eugenie. I've always firmly believed that they will eventually be called upon for royal duties. A couple reasons why. Firstly, when William becomes king, there is going to be not enough working royals, period.
Right.
There's only 11 at the moment, but out of those 11 people currently completing royal duties, 4 or 5 of them are very elderly. You've got, of course, King Charles and Queen Camilla, who are both in their mid-70s. Princess Anne's in her 70s. But even older than that, we have the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, who are in their 80s now. The Duke of Kent, who's, I think, 89. So realistically, these are people that are not going to be part of William's time when he becomes king. He's going to need backup. I think that the logical choice, if you look down the line of succession, is to go straight to Beatrice. I think she's always had that sense. If you look at the way that she's structured her life and her family decisions, I think all of that really leads to her thinking, I might be called upon, and I do believe that she would do it for her cousin. I think Eugenie as well would be a possible contender because he's going to need the support. I think, of course, William and Kate have 3 children, but, Charlotte, Louis and George are decades away from being able to take on royal duties. So I do think I would, if I'm not a betting person, but I would put a bet on Beatrice, definitely Beatrice, and possibly Eugenie becoming.
Okay, putting our money on it.
Yeah.
Now, a man has been arrested after illegally trespassing on the grounds of Windsor Castle, not far from Kate and William's family home. So tell us about this. Could this latest incident spark kind of a royal security overhaul, do you think?
Look, I think that would definitely be a discussion. This is the second time now in the span of a year where publicly it's been known that people have trespassed onto the grounds of Windsor Castle. Of course, Kate and Will and their family live inside Adelaide Cottage, which is a regular family home within the sort of confines of Windsor Castle. That is very much their sanctuary. It's where they've chosen to raise their family. So, of course, their security is paramount. This latest incident happened on Sunday. It was during the daytime. In the afternoon, a man in his 30s was arrested after breaching sort of the outer, perimeter of Windsor Castle. They stressed that it wasn't as serious as previous incident last year. There was another case where I think it was 2 men were able to sort of break in close to Adelaide Cottage. They got quite close. They were in the sort of outer building area. So this is a concern. I think that the security of the royal family, whether it's Prince Harry, in the courtroom or not, is always a discussion because at the end of the day, these are people who live their lives in the public eye.
Yeah.
They're essentially sitting ducks in the sense that we know where they are. There's a royal diary. It's very much easy to track down royal family members. So of course their security is important. And I hope that, this latest incident does certainly, I mean, spark an overhaul. Whether it changes the way that they run the security around Windsor Castle, unclear. But I do think incidents like this and the fact they've made it public shows that, you know, they are serious about prosecuting people as well.
Yeah. Reilly Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.